and we're rolling. This is scary. Hi everybody. I'll tell you why I'm dressed like this in a minute. Some of you might guess. Depends what you've been watching on TV lately. Welcome to episode 3 of Little Coity Crystal's New Moon podcast. As you can see, I'm flying solo today and I'm a little bit nervous doing it on my own. The last 2 I've done with Lucy, and we talked about nature and hedgehogs and kind of the value of being outside and well-being. And the first one I did with the fabulous Sarah Jane, and we did a bit of new moon planning back in January. I'm doing this one on my own because Sarah's left me to go and have a holiday in New York, which I think is really selfish. I thought I'd better get one on my own under my belt. Let's just bite the bullet and do it. So, right, okay, let's get into it. I'm going to try and not make this longer than 45 minutes. So why am I dressed like this? Because I'm on my own, I needed something like a theme. Otherwise I'd get too scared. So this week I was watching a fabulous documentary about Paulie Yates, who she was a bit of like a childhood icon for little girls in the 80s. She was amazing, but really kind of hounded by the paparazzi, had her whole kind of life kind of pulled apart, but she was an absolute female icon of the times. And if you can remember The Big Breakfast, if you're old enough to remember The Big Breakfast, she used to do On the Bed with Paula in the mornings. So in tribute to the late great Paulie Yates, I have dressed up like Paulie Yates, and I've got fabulous red shoes on, and hopefully that will help with my nerves, because I can kind of channel her spirit, because she was amazing at interviewing people and doing just media in general. She was just an absolute fucking queen. So if you get a chance this week, watch the documentary. She had a really tragic life towards like the end, losing the love of her life and having to do with many traumatic, horrible things. So lots of peace and love to Paulie Yates, and thank you for the inspiration. And I'm bringing back headscarves because I'm quite loving this. Don't care what anyone thinks. Okay, so what I haven't done yet is learn how to sync my music with my video. So I can't do a podcast without doing my intro music, which was created for me by the fabulous Ollie, and I'll put Ollie's tag details on the bottom of this. So we're just going to have a moment before we start and get into the bulk of the podcast. We're going to have a little moment. We're gonna pull our dress up, and we're going to have a little quiet moment together, and we're going to listen to the fabulous music that Ollie created for the Little Coity Crystal's New Moon podcast. So just close your eyes. I gotta press play. Have a breathe. Got my own theme tune. Thanks, Ollie. I love it, and it's it's created especially for my podcast. So thank you, Ollie. We're going to talk about sleep. I've got notes plastered everywhere in front of me. Last week was National Sleep Awareness Week. I'll tell you a little bit about my own sleep journey. I'm going to settle back and relax to do that in a minute. and then hope I can offer some hints and tips to anybody else who's struggling with sleep. I'm kind of like this with it, but I may not be kind of trained in sleep or anything like that, or how to sleep, or any of the kind of psychology around it, but I've got lots of experience in not being able to sleep and being able to sleep, because I struggle to find balance with sleep. So I'm either not asleep or I'm asleep for 12 hours straight. And that does link in with mental health as well. So I'm going to have a little bit of a chat about that. If I keep looking down, it's because I'm referring to notes. So I'm going to kick back a bit. Just gonna get comfy. I might have to lose the shoes. Oh, that's better. Get a blanket. And we're gonna get comfy. And oh, there's my little Rocky tattoo there. I don't know if you can see. Rocky as Ziggy Stardust. Just in case none of you have seen that. I've got a couple of others I'll show you another time. So we're gonna kick back, relax. And I want you guys to kick back and relax with me as well, because we're gonna be here for some time. I might as well grab a cuppa. Yeah, listen in. So what are we going to talk about first? We're going to talk about wind down routines. So regardless of when you sleep, so that could be in relation to shift workers as well. So if you are a daytime worker, or if you're a shift worker, or if you have weird working patterns, or if you have babies or animals or weird kind of dynamics going on with routines and stuff, routines are really important regardless of when you sleep. Admittedly, it is a minefield when it comes to sleep and shift work. I can give you some signposts of where to go for more detailed advice on that, but shift work really does play havoc with your circadian rhythm, and I got somebody I'll talk about in a little bit that can explain all that a lot better than I can. But regardless of what your sleep or when you sleep, routines are really, really important. And this is where I struggle to be disciplined, is I don't give my sleep routine enough chance sometimes, particularly if I'm going through a period of insomnia. So I'll do it, kind of stick to it for like a couple of days, and then I'll go, it's not working, and then I'll give up and then just let the insomnia take over, because I want an instant fix. It gets to that point sometimes when you can't sleep that you do get a bit, or I certainly do get a bit tantrumy. If I'm having a really bad bout of insomnia and I'm awake for too long consistently, like night after night after night, I can get really emotional and cry and tantrumy, because I just want to sleep. It's almost like sometimes a feeling of helplessness when you can't sleep, but that's why it's so important to stick to routines. I don't want to sound like tough love, but you have got to help yourself as well. But sometimes when you're that mentally drained through lack of sleep, it can be difficult to kind of focus. So it's really important to talk to people about it. If you're really, really struggling, please go and see your GP, because there might be, you know, something else going on. You always want to get yourself checked out if you're exhausted and tired and you can't sleep and you're really at your wit's end with it. But there's lots of things that you can do as well with sleep routines, and I'll go through some top tips. We'll go through crystals. We'll go through a little bit more detail of my sleep story, which is what we'll do now actually. So my sleep story is very much linked to my mental health. So if my mental health is in decline, I oversleep. And then either side of that, I'll find that I go into a period of insomnia just before I'm about to dip. And then usually I'll have a period of insomnia when I'm coming out of that dip. So I'll usually have insomnia, massive bit of oversleeping, and then once I come out the side, other side, insomnia again. That could be something that goes on for months. It's very rarely weeks. So it'll usually be, I diarise it, and I've got a pattern from the last couple of years. So I'll end up middle of the summer, I'll go through periods of insomnia. I'll hit around about December and my mood will really dip. I don't do winters very well. And then I'll kind of come out of things February. I'll get lots of energy, have a little period of insomnia, and then I'll have like a little break between kind of late spring and middle of summer. And that is what is normal for me. And it's trying to figuring out what is your normal and how you can kind of live through that. Because it's quite often inconsistent as well. So my bouts of insomnia can be a couple of nights and then I'll be fine for a couple of weeks, or it could be a couple of weeks and I'll be fine for a couple of days. But it's really trying to kind of manage it. And I think sometimes as well, you've got to accept that maybe there's reasons for that. And again, if you're really struggling with sleep and mental health, please go and speak to somebody. Please go and speak to a professional. Because I've learned a lot through CBT, which is cognitive behavioural therapy. I'm a big advocate for therapy. Therapy is probably one of the biggest things that has helped me with my sleep patterns. When you're talking about things like insomnia, nightmares, night terrors, things like that, particularly, they can be really difficult to fix on your own. So I wouldn't ever be afraid of seeking therapy for that sort of thing, because it does help. But it's not, I mean, that's the kind of worst bit. Other bits of my sleep story are not so bad as that. I've just talked about the extreme kind of end of things. The kind of lighter end of things, when I'm not experiencing insomnia, is I sleep. Like I love sleep. And when I'm into a good sleep routine, I'm almost at risk of sleeping too much because I just love my bed. I love sleep, I love naps. I can pretty much fall asleep anywhere. In September, I was going to London with friends and I fell asleep like that on the train with my hands like in my head on the table. Hands in my head? Head in my hands on the table. I'm really good at falling asleep places. But you've got to be really careful about how much you nap in the daytime. And I think that's going down into like a top tip, is if you do have a nap in the daytime, don't have a long nap. I'm terrible, particularly if I've got it early. I'll get to like the end of like a work day or a day off and it'll hit like 4:30, 5 o'clock and I'll be like, oh, I'll just have a little half an hour nap. And then I'll be asleep for 2 hours and wake up at tea time and then not go to bed till 1 o'clock in the morning. I find balance really difficult with sleep, but it's very, very connected to my mood as well. So it's really, really important. God, doing all the talking by yourself is like really hard. This water's gonna go. Yeah, so that's a little bit about my sleep story. I did ask some questions around what were your sleep stories on my Instagram page, and I had a lot of varied kind of different answers. They kind of like go into common themes, and it seems that waking up at kind of 3 o'clock in the morning is a big one. Waking up not being able to go back to sleep, waking up needing to pee, and shift workers finding it really, really difficult as well to get a regular sleep pattern. So I'm going to go through routines and top tips. As I'm saying all this, it's kind of all making sense in my head because I'm I'm saying the stuff. I hope it's all making sense to you, that end as well. So sleep routines, by that I mean like what happens before you go to bed. So one thing that I started doing about 18 months ago is setting an alarm to wind myself down ready for bed. That alarm until really recently has been at 10 o'clock at night. So my alarm goes off at 10 o'clock and I go, right, okay, get ready for bed. Sometimes I listen to it, other times I turn it off, and I'll be like, last night I was up painting till like 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm decorating the lounge. Other times I'll listen to it, I'll be like, right, 10 o'clock, time to go to bed, clean my teeth, wash my face, and I'm in bed at like 10:05, like this. Like, oh, I can't sleep, I'm not ready for sleep. Other times I'll go to sleep well before my alarm. But if I go to sleep before my alarm, I do have a habit of waking up too early in the morning, like 3 or 4 o'clock. So what I'm trying to do at the moment is trying to regulate the hours that I go to bed and get up early in the morning. It sounds really simple, but life gets in the way. Sometimes you don't want to get up when the alarm goes, and sometimes you want to press snooze 3 times. Sometimes when it's a Wednesday and maybe you want to lie in a bit longer, and the bin men decide to come early and do the glass recycling at 6:30. So sometimes things happen that you can't control, and I think some of that is just learning about not getting pissed off about it. I used to get really, really pissed off if people used to disturb my sleep, whether it was, because especially in the summer I like to sleep with the windows open. And obviously little Rocky's got really sensitive ears, so if, I don't know, there's a milkman going up and down the street at 5 o'clock in the morning, and that wakes me up, I used to be like, oh my god, how dare somebody wake me up because I'm so important. But now I'm just a little bit more chill about it, and I try and have a bit more patience with things because I can't control that. And to be honest, it's just a poor milkman going about doing his daily business. He hasn't kind of got up in the morning and gone, I know, I'm just going to jangle some bottles because I really want to wake Emma up and piss her off. So it's having some patience with yourself and kind of your sleep as well, and just trying to go, right, okay, what can I do, and how can I kind of get through this. So keeping that routine of trying to go to bed at the same time every night and trying to get up in the morning regardless of how tired I feel, that's really important. And that's one that I've done a fair bit of reading on this week, and again, it seems really, really obvious, but it seems to be like, you know, one of the kind of top tips is stick to that. I used to work in the olden days. I mean, we used to go to bed with go to bed when it went dark and get up with the animals at the crack of dawn. That's how life used to be. And I think sometimes there's a lot to be said for going back to the old ways. So wind down alarms. I've started setting mine earlier now. So my alarm goes off at around 9 o'clock. And that gives me an hour to start winding down. So at 9 o'clock, that means theoretically I should turn the television off, stick my phone away, maybe have a hot bath, maybe make a cup of herbal tea, just to kind of get things kind of trying to get my body ready to go to sleep. I've got time and space. Other people might not have time and space because you might have kids running around or an annoying person breathing next to you in bed. On that note, I don't know how people sleep in the same bed as other people. I can't do it. It's just weird. I find it really strange to have somebody next to you breathing. It's odd. But I accept in society these days, couples do sleep in a bed together. But I don't know, like, if sleeping in a bed with somebody annoys you, doesn't mean you don't like them if you go and sleep in a different room. So I'm just going to put that out there. Yeah, so that's alarms. I'm going to cover a little bit skincare as well, because what has really helped me wind down before bed is do my little skincare sleep routine. So I'm going to show you some bits that I bought recently. And it's skincare that you it's kind of linked to self-care as well, looking after your skin. So I've been having like perimenopausal kind of breakouts and really itchy, sensitive like face skin, which I've never had before in my life. So I've started to kind of, when I was younger, I used to spend a fortune on lotions and potions. Before the age of about 32, I used to buy like top-notch, really expensive face creams. And then I got skint. And for the last kind of 10 years or so, I've been using like Oil of Ulay or Simple, just really basic skincare. But I've had some skin flare-ups recently, so I've started investing in my skincare again. Not like mega buck stuff, but natural handmade stuff. So I'm not being paid to shout out any of these. This is all like products I've paid and sent off for. But I just want to recommend, because my skin has just changed so much, like for the better. I've got, you know, look how glowy I look. And it's not just because I bought one of those posh blogging ring lights. So I found these two lots of skincare through Instagram. So Honey Be Beautiful, it's all handmade. I want to say up in Usk, or maybe Abergavenny, Usk, I think. And it's two lovely ladies, and they hand make all their products and have like their own bees. And I've been using a sensitive, fragrance-free cleansing balm, and then a sensitive face cream, and that has really stopped my perimenopausal itchy skin, and I will tag them below. And then the other products I've been using, which are freaking amazing, Dames and Dimes. So I follow her on Instagram. She makes amazing products. Look at that. Oh, there's one called Chocolate Orange Balm, which I've been using. This is the Sunset Glow Recovery Balm, and it is for revitalizing a dull and tired complexion, and it gives you a healthy glow, and it really does. So I bought like the full size one, but she also does these little kits of samples. And one of the ones that I've been using a lot is the Midnight Blue Recovery Balm. That stuff is incredible, it's amazing. But I've just been incorporating that into my like wind down, because you really have got to like be mindful about what you're doing and take notice of what you're doing. So it's the whole kind of like getting a hot cloth and putting it on your face and removing all the like grime from the day, and then like massaging in the balm, and just like chilling out for a bit, and then removing the balm, and then doing the face cream. And my sister also bought me one of these rollers a couple of years ago, and it's amazing just for like lymphatic drainage in your face. So I just like to sit in bed sometimes before I go to sleep, just kind of roll in my eyes, and it's really nice and cold. You can put it in the fridge as well for extra coldness. This one's a rose quartz one, naturally it's crystal. So it's just, and it makes a little squeak as well. So I sit with my squeaky roller, and it does make a difference. So that's a way to encourage you to kind of like start winding down and start chilling out, is to kind of like do something. If it's not skincare, the other thing I do is, this sounds really weird and fetishy now. I massage my feet. So get some sweet almond oil, and I like to use peppermint. Just like whack a bit of oil in the palm of your hand, stick a couple of drops of peppermint in, and massage your feet before you go to bed. So the essential oils, if you massage them into your bottom of the feet, they absorb into your bloodstream quicker. I don't know what the science is behind it, I just know that they do. And just give yourself a foot massage before bed. It's so nice. And you get like, I'm like, oh, I don't need somebody else to do this for me, I can do it myself. And it's just nice to kind of have that little routine every night. Your feet are really important when it comes to kind of your emotional well-being as well. So it's almost like a special kind of like hug. So that's another thing I would recommend. And it also gives you then a little bit of time where you're chilling out and you're doing something for yourself as well. which is super important. Irony. Okay, this podcast is going to be in 2 parts then. My wind down alarm just went on my phone, and I didn't realise when your alarm goes on your phone, it stops the video. So this is part 2 of episode 3. Please watch part 1 first. Technical hitches. Yeah, so we've talked about wind down alarms, we've talked about skincare, we've talked about self-care. I'm gonna talk about electronics and blue lights and stuff. I don't have a television in my bedroom. I don't have any electronics at all in my bedroom. Bad habit I do have is charging my phone next to my bed, which I'm going to stop doing. I don't believe in having electrical equipment in the bedroom. I think it really gives off electrical energy. I don't like it around me when I sleep. I can't think of anything worse than lying in a bed watching telly, unless you're at a hotel, that's a one-off. So really think about having electronics in your bedroom. It is so disruptive to sleep. Your bedroom is for 2 things: sleeping and getting jiggy with it. Although there are other places for the getting jiggy with it, you don't have to use a bed. But yeah, electronics and blue light, particularly mobile phones, laptops, iPads, things like that, is basically keeping your brain awake. So the way that we react to blue light, it's doing the opposite of telling us to relax and slow down. It's keeping our little kind of brain mechanisms going. So if you're on your phone until you go to bed and then you're like led there and you wonder why you can't go to sleep, it's because you've just kind of activated your brain, and your brain is like, ooh. So try not to use your phone before bed. It's bad for you. Circadian rhythms and fresh air. So if you work shifts, it's really going to fuck up your circadian rhythm. So you're basically staying awake when you should be asleep. So staying awake when your body wants to sleep. So everything that is important to good sleep becomes super important if you work shifts. So nutrition, hydration, exercise, getting fresh air and getting good quality sleep, that becomes 10 times more important if you're a shift worker. And you've got your work cut out for you if you're a shift worker as well, when it comes to good quality sleep. So you need to be on top of all those things: your nutrition, hydration, looking after yourself, your self-care. The type of job that shift workers tend to have contradicts all that. I haven't got any easy answers. I do know that it's worth giving my mate Wibbs a listen to, who talks a lot about cold water therapy and breath work, and he's a shift worker himself. So I'll tag Wibbs on the bottom of this video, because if you listen to him talking about breathing and circadian rhythms and kind of waking yourself up, he will explain it far more eloquently than I can, and he's like the breathwork guru, isn't he? So little shout out to my brother from another mother there. I think as well for me, now I'm on the kind of thread of breathwork, I've been consistently doing yoga again. So I do yoga once a week with the fabulous Lou Long, who is a yoga instructor, and he is also a fighter. But I go and see him for the yoga, obviously, because I'm a lover, not a fighter. Hang on a minute, I just need to adjust my bust. So I do a session every week with Lou, and we do like a lot of pranayama, we do a lot of breath work. After he's given me a beasting, we tend to do like get warmed up, do some flows, and then kind of like calm it down at the end and have a little chill bit with some pranayama and some breathing and stuff. That really sets me up for good sleep. if you can hear Rocky yipping in the background, if he doesn't shush, I might have to go downstairs and pick him up. So that's why I just dribbled, sorry. So that's another thing that I would really recommend, is getting in some routine weekly practice when it comes to yoga and breath work. That is probably the most important thing that I do for myself, for my mental health and my sleep and my back problem at the moment, because I got a funny disc in my back. So that's what keeps me mobile. The nights that I have the best night's sleep are on a Friday, a Saturday and a Sunday, after I've been to spend the hour with Lou on a Friday morning. I sleep amazing. So I think that's, and I can feel myself getting better and better and better as the weeks go on. So I'll tag Lou as well, because he's an amazing yoga teacher. And I'm finding that is really helping me at the moment as well. Oh my god, I've gone through all my routine stuff. It's time to go on to top tips. So top tips. I'm so thirsty. I've just remembered why. I had bacon sandwiches earlier on. Bacon sandwiches always make me thirsty. I'm gonna have to go and grab Rocky a minute. 2 seconds, I'll be back. For those of you that haven't watched before, I have a little long-haired chihuahua called Rocky. Here he is. Say hello to everyone, Rocky. Hi. I bought him a special treat this week. It's like, it's made out of yak milk, and he loves it. Here you go. Go get your treaty. You're gonna go and sit by there. Go on then. I've made you a space. No? He wants to be involved. Oh, just get my blanket back. So I'm gonna sit back and chill for this bit. Rocky's gonna wander around with his yak milk thing. Top tips. So, bit of advice I had this week around sleep. I went to a lunch and learn session in work around sleep. And the lady that ran it, who is a professional, had some amazing advice. And she said, what we do in the night what we do in the day affects our night. So consider this and factor it into your sleep routine. So by that, let me give an example. If you've had a super busy day and you've been running around like a crazy person all day with loads of things to do and your brain's been going, you can't expect to get home and just go, I'm going to go straight to bed and I'm going to sleep, because your body will probably be too wound up. So what we do in the day affects our night. So take that back to why routines are so important, like why sleep routines are so important, and why it's so important to have that wind down before trying to get some sleep. So I thought that was a really good piece of advice, because sometimes we have really busy lives. I hate the word busy. I think I talk about this a lot, actually. I think being busy has been glorified. It seems like a badge of honor to be busy. Like, oh, I'm so busy. I don't know, I've worked so much. And I think that's something that I certainly challenge in my life now. And I've got really strict boundaries when it comes to work-life balance. I didn't always have that when I worked in my old job. And yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good for me at all. So I know it's easy to say and it's easy advice to give, but get some boundaries in place with work. If you are giving too much to work and you're staying on, or you're picking up calls, like on calls, and you're the only one who's doing it all the time consistently, stick some boundaries in place, because it can be really difficult to have a work-life balance and any kind of sleep routine if work is the priority and you're not happy with it being the priority. So set your boundaries, get some work-life balance in your life. As somebody who's done that in the last 12 months, I could totally recommend it. I used to be an absolute slave to what I used to do, and I very nearly didn't come out of it. So yeah, boundaries are really important. Bedroom environment. So I've put this setup in like the nice tidy bit of my bedroom. What you can't see behind me is, oh sorry, oh my god, he made Rocky jump. Did you see him then? Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I scared you and then you jumped and then you made me scared. Oh, I'm sorry. Go and eat your yak milk. You are, look. He's got such a long floofy tail that sometimes I accidentally touch the end of his tail and it freaks him out and he doesn't like it, and then he gets scared and then I get scared. We're both so highly strung. Bedroom environment, yeah, so what you can't see behind is my big table with my sewing machine and about this much vintage fabric on it. Another big pile of laundry like that, a clothes area in the corner with like stacks of laundry on it, gym bags, yoga mats, pile of shoes in the corner. That's not conducive to a nice bedroom environment. So have a look at your bedroom. If it's a shit pit, tidy it up, put things away. On my list of things to do this week is to put my laundry away and get into good habits when it comes to putting laundry away. There's only one of me. I live here on my own and I've got 3 piles of laundry. Like, I don't understand. So get into better routines when it comes to putting laundry away, because the corner of my bedroom does turn into like a little bit of a dumping ground. You should be able to lie in bed and feel relaxed by what you see. So if it's full of clutter and crap, you're not going to feel relaxed. The other thing as well is, like, I like to have a nice flow around my bedroom, but at the moment, because I've got so much stuff under my bed that needs tidying up, I constantly lie here thinking I really need to sort out all the stuff that's under my bed. So as part of my big spring clean this year, I'm going to clear everything out from under the bed, take some stuff to charity, box up what needs to go up in the attic, tidy everything up, and then there'll be a nice flow of energy all around the room. So bedroom environment's really important. Getting as much natural light as possible in the daytime. That is a really difficult one in winter in Wales. And that's one that I really struggle with, is that when we hit about February, I don't feel like there's enough light outside to get into my eyeballs. Like, I stand outside like that, come on, because I just feel like I need like so much light in my eyeballs and I can't get it. So I've invested in daylight bulbs for all the rooms, which was ridiculously expensive, but worth it. I'm noticing the difference. I got gifted a massive sad lamp a couple of years ago, and that does help as well. It's huge. You can see my house from space when it's on, and that kind of helps with the light deficit in the winter. But even with all those things, I still really struggle come January, February. So next year, I've got a different plan. I'm going to go somewhere hot for a week in January and see if that makes a difference. But this time of year, it's easier to get outside and have some natural light. Like, I've started to get up earlier in the morning, take Rocky outside, go for a walk lunchtime as well. Particularly if I'm going into work, I'll go and have a wander around like the work premises. I work in quite big buildings and then some of the big buildings have got large grounds, so there's always places to have a wander and get some daylight. So getting as much natural light as possible, which sometimes is really hard when you've done a day's work and you want to come in and lie on the sofa with a cup of tea and watch, I don't know, your favourite box set. But it's like the other thing I read this week, you gotta put in what you get out or something. Gotta put in what you gotta give. It's something about the universe will give to you if you help yourself a little bit. And again, that sounds really tough love, but I don't mean it like that. And it doesn't, it means if you help yourself a bit in like a loving way, like if you do little things for yourself, then the universe will kind of give back more. And I really do believe that, and I'm starting to kind of manifest some of that at the moment, and trying to kind of help myself out as much as possible, not to get back, just to give myself the best chance to kind of catch all that good energy that's going around, if that makes sense. So yeah, get outside, stand under a tree, get some natural light. It's really good for you. Feel your eyeballs full of sunshine. If you do really struggle with sleep, you should probably look at doing a sleep diary. So in your sleep diary, you want to be capturing things like, what am I eating? What am I getting at? What am I eating? What am I drinking? What am I doing? Where am I going? How much am I driving? How do I feel? Am I on my period? How is my moods? How's my immune system? And you want to be capturing all those things on a daily basis, because then you can then look at it and maybe pick up some trends. I'm rubbish at doing sleep diaries because I get bored. It's really strange actually, because as a person, I'm quite, I love a clipboard, I love a spreadsheet, I like recording things, I like having like information there, but I struggle to do consistently to do sleep diaries for myself. But it really is helpful, because you have data that you can analyze then. So if you really struggle with sleep, get yourself a little sleep diary and start recording all those things, and you'll be amazed actually at what you can pick up. I notice a lot about my sleep changes on the week leading up to my period and during my period, and sometimes if you know what you've got coming at you, you can deal with it better, rather than just sometimes these things happen, you're like, why am I feeling like this? And then you realise, I don't know, that you're ovulating, or I don't know, your period's due the next day, or yeah, so sleep diaries really help. I'm a big advocate of herbal tea, and my lovely friend Janine, who I will tag, at Carrod's Kutch Apothecary, makes the most amazing sleepy tea. It's incredible. And again, kind of if you link that back to your sleep routine, having herbal tea that's been created by somebody in a loving way, is an amazing thing to have before you go to bed. And I swear by Janine's teas. So I will tag her, and absolutely recommend sleepy tea. It is amazing. It's yeah, it's probably the thing that I do that when I wake up and I can't sleep, I'll get up and make a herbal tea, and then try and bring it back to bed and just like sip it, and just have a little kind of moment with my herbal tea, and that helps a lot, because you're not stimulating your brain too much. You're just doing a simple act for yourself, trying to chill out and get back into that sleep space again. I've just written down here, routine. Routine's really important. A couple of other little bits and pieces before I go into crystals. If you've got restless legs, get yourself some magnesium spray. It's amazing. So occasionally I get restless legs. I have got some magnesium spray, which again is homemade by Janine. Spray it in the bottom of my feet or on my calves, and it just gets rid of restless legs. I don't know what the science is. It's like magic as far as I'm concerned. So yeah. The other thing I think is really important as well is, what do you sleep in? So there's no point going to bed and trying to sleep if you're uncomfortable. So do whatever makes you comfortable. Sometimes I'll wear pajamas and socks and a jumper, and then other times I'll just wear pants. It's just what I feel comfortable in at that time. So really have a look at what you sleep in. Natural cottons are amazing. Bamboo fabrics are amazing to sleep in because they help regulate heat. I get quite kind of hot flushy kind of sleep sometimes, so I prefer sleeping in like light cotton. That really helps. Also, opening the bedroom window before you go to sleep is amazing, just letting in like fresh, cool energy. It's good for your body if you do stuff like have a hot bath and then go into a cooler room to try and sleep, or always make sure your bedroom's cool. So I never have the radiator on in my bedroom, even if it's like freezing cold, snow, whatever. The bedroom radiator's always off, because I like to be hot, don't get me wrong, but I find I sleep better if I've got that cool kind of, coolness going on in the room. Invest in good bedding as well. I'm laughing because I frequently invest in good bedding. About once a year, my cat will sneak upstairs and shit on my bed, because that's what cats do. I always buy good quality bedding, and she must know that, and she must hate me in some small way to do that. But it, without fail, like once a year for the last kind of 3 or 4 years has happened, and it kills me because it's just impossible to clean. You probably didn't need to know all that. I was talking about nice bedding. Get yourself some nice bedding. I've got nice bedding. I like big, comfy, like hotel quilts, and I've got ethically sourced stuff in. I like feathery kind of feeling, like good old fashioned like feathery feeling. I like a nice soft bed, so I've got a soft mattress, and then I've got a feather mattress topper, and then I've got a feather duvet, and then I've got like a squishy quilt. So I like to be squishy and nice and covered in like loads of blankets and cushions and stuff, like a little nest. But I know other people like hard beds with like nothing on it. But just know what you like, and don't be afraid to go into like shops. And when I chose my pillows, I actually got the pillows out on the shelf. I don't know whether I didn't buy my pillows from Dunelm, but I did go to Dunelm to try out some pillows, and I literally took the pillows and then found a shelf and then pretended to sleep on the pillows on the shelf just to see how comfortable they were. So don't be afraid to, that's why they have sample pillows out on kind of shelves and stuff, so you can try them out. So don't be afraid to kind of have a good feel of stuff when you're shopping for bedding, and kind of maybe like to get the stuff that I liked. Like I had to save up to buy my, especially after the last Nancy incident, I slept on the sofa in a sleeping bag for a month after she did it the last time, because I couldn't afford to buy a proper duvet again straight away. She's a weird cat. So yeah, I saved up and got like a really nice kind of, and I have this one on in the summer as well. So I don't change duvets in the summer or the winter. I have the same one like all year round because of monsters. If you don't have a big thick duvet in the summer and stay under it, monsters get you, is a fact. All the things, sorry Rocky, all the things that I've talked about today, I could have gone into like massive more detail about. That's just kind of like skimmed the surface. So I want to give you some examples of places to go for good information. So if you go online and find the Sleep Council's website, that is probably the best reference site for all things sleep. So if you kind of wake up in the middle of the night and you've tried the kind of herbal teas and having a little wander around and reading a book and all the rest of it, try going onto the Sleep Council website and have a look. They've got loads of top tips about things. One of the things I'm getting back into at the morning is cold showers in the morning. I'm trying to catch up with Wibbs because he is like the cold bath morning king. So hopefully within the next month or so I'll have my cold water set up in the garden, and I'll be able to do a podcast on the ice bath one day. But just trying to get into the routine again of cold showers in the morning, which I do a lot of like sea dipping and stuff, but there's just something hideous about getting out of bed and having a cold shower. It's gross, but it's good for you. I'm going to finish off the podcast, which is probably going to be 2 lots of half an hours now because I've talked for like ever. Going to finish off with crystals. So, crystals for sleep. Let me just get my props a minute. So we have got rose quartz, which is amazing for just general love and relaxation. I've got 2 chunks of raw rose quartz, and I like to hold one in each hand. Quite often I'll go to sleep like this, particularly if I'm going through moments of insomnia. Rose quartz is really good for insomnia. It's really good for relaxation, and I will literally go to sleep holding my rose quartz in each hand. And generally, you lose go over them in the night, don't wake up with one stuck in your ribs, but they're really, really good. We've also got red jasper. Red jasper is good for healing environments, so that is a piece of red jasper. Good for nice healing environments, which is ideal for your bedroom. Next we have, I haven't got very large pieces of Dalmatian jasper, but Dalmatian jasper is, well, it's jasper that looks like Dalmatians. It's that one there, I don't know if you can you see the spotty one on there? That's really good if you suffer from nightmares or night terrors. I've only recently found that out, so I'm going to be investing in a big whacking great bit of Dalmatian jasper soon, because I do have some quite frightening dreams sometimes, so I'm going to try the Dalmatian jasper. Selenite is good for sleepwalkers. I don't know if she still does, but my sister used to sleepwalk when we were kids, and once I woke up and she was brushing my hair and it was really scary. So selenite is really, really good for sleepwalkers. Next on the list is lepidolite. This is my huge, massive bit of lepidolite. So lepidolite is linked to serenity, so that's nice to have a big lump of serenity next to you when you go to sleep, isn't it? And it also raises our awareness of joy, which I think is lovely. So if we've got an increased awareness of joy, and we've got kind of good vibrations coming at us and within us and around us and through us, the more chances we'll have a good night's sleep. So lepidolite is a really good one to keep next to you. I love this one. It's huge. You could like lift weights, use it as a weight. And then I have got some white howlite. White howlite is really calm and cooling. It's like a white stone with like grey veins through it. It's a lovely, lovely cooling, calming stone. Zebra jasper is good when if you're carrying emotional baggage and you want that emotional baggage absorbed so you can go to sleep. So that's zebra jasper. And then one of my favourite go-to soothing stones if I'm feeling, you know, if you can't sleep because you're a little bit sad, you need some blue lace agate. It's a lovely, lovely kind of violety blue kind of colour, and it's a really, really lovely, soft, smooth, soothing stone. So that's what I've picked you for crystals to go to sleep with. Do you know what I didn't do? I made a whole list of things that we would talk about, and I made like a start section and like a middle section, and I haven't written an end section, so I don't know how to end this now. We've got about a minute left and then this runs into like an hour. I just hope this might have helped a little bit. It might be stuff you already know, some stuff might be new to you. But as somebody that struggles with sleep and struggles particularly to keep to sleep routines, I suppose it's just nice to know you're not on your own as well, and that there's other people out there who are experiencing what you're experiencing. And I think sometimes that's half the battle, just knowing that there's other people out there. So next time you're awake in the middle of the night and you can't sleep, just lie there and think you're connected to all the other people who can't sleep at that particular moment in time as well. So maybe like just reach out and send each other like good nighttime vibes, and then maybe it'll kind of settle your mind a bit. But yeah, I think that's oh, I know what we'll do to end. Wait there, I've just had an idea. To end the podcast, we will we'll end the podcast by listening to the music that Ollie made for me. So we'll end the way that we started. So hang on a minute. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to have a little moment with Ollie's music again. Isn't that lush? I love it. Just makes me happy that I've got my own theme tune. Oh, I was gonna say Rocky could come and say goodbye, but he's run off to eat his yak milk dog chew on the floor. It's weird. Yeah, so thank you for listening. And I'll be back soon with Sarah, because we're going to be doing a podcast on imposter syndrome, so stay tuned for that. Everybody that I've talked about today, I'll stick some tags in the notes, and I'm going to sign off by wishing you a very good night's sleep if you were listening to this before you go to bed, and lots of love, and thank you for listening. Peace out.